It's been 3 years in the making, but my Swallows vest chart is finally here.
Hi.
Hello, welcome back. This episode's mainly going to be about, I've got a chart out. I haven't put a chart out now for probably a year. So I've been going through a very productive period, very good creative period where I'm getting lots of work done. I look back on where I was last year, and I'd started this chart and hadn't finished it, so I got the chart finished and we've got it out as a poster. Welcome back if you've been here before. For new viewers, basically what I'm all about mainly is colour work, stranded colour work, so stuff like this, and more recently this is stuff that I used to do before but I haven't done for a long while. More recently, colour started to come back into my work, so that's what I'm working at the moment. So it was 3 years since I knitted this. This is Palmer, by the way, the model, and that's Karen, that model there, who's got Mrs. Smith's shawl, which is still not been finished, but I have been busy working on other stuff. So Palmer's modelling my Swallows vest. Some of you will have knitted what became the Bluebird blanket, because we issued the chart for that 2 years ago now. But people have been asking me again and again and again, when am I going to get the chart out? So it was 3 years ago during lockdown that I knitted this jumper for myself, and the idea wasn't that it was ever going to be a pattern. So when I knitted it on a tiny little piece of graph paper, and I just did a drawing on the graph paper. I didn't colour in every single square. So the reason that it's taken that long was because it took a long time for me to convert that tiny little drawing. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put a clip in that I couldn't find that chart, but last year I did a mini studio tour, which I haven't put on YouTube. And in that mini studio tour, you can see the actual chart that I knitted this from. And subsequently you can see me turning that chart, so there's a couple of clips, into the current chart. Hello, it's 6:05, it's Saturday morning, and I've just got up and I'm whispering because Joe and Arthur are still in bed asleep, and I
just thought I'd show you a bit of my studio. It's tidier than it normally is. So yeah, at the moment I'm working on my bluebird vest. So I've got my old bluebird vest up there that I'm using as reference for the drawing, and recently I found the original drawing that I used to knit from, and on that drawing every stitch, every square was 4 stitches. So I am translating that so that every stitch, every square on this is 1 stitch, and it's taking a long time. I'm surprised how long it's taking. Also on my desk I've got my drawing or my chart for Vera's blanket, which I've started but I haven't finished, so I'm just keeping it safe there, and at some point soon I will get back onto that. So this is, so my desk, I have my desk under the window here, and if I just turn this handle, so I've got a drawer in the desk, there we go, and I can tip it so that the light from the window goes straight onto my desk.
What is it you're doing?
What am I doing? I'm working on the pattern, because people have been asking me for, well, ever since I knitted it really, for the pattern for my bluebird, do we call it bluebird? Swallows jumper, I think we called it. I've gone back to, I'm colouring in. I've gone back to the original. I've redrawn it as well though. It's different. It's not going to be exactly the same. But I am a lot. It's very similar. A lot of people wouldn't notice any differences. I've taken some flowers out. I've created a bit more space within the design, and I've also designed this piece here, which wasn't there before, which is for the back. So the idea is that the front and the back will be the same, but I've taken the measurements and I've taken the pattern from the original that I've knitted. When I knitted it, it was during lockdown, and so I've knitted it, really it's a man's XL size. So you asked me the question.
So it will be available on Etsy.
Yes, it will be available on Etsy as a printed chart. It might not have a pattern with it at that point, Joe. It might be that it's just a printed chart and you'll have to work out how many stitches to pick up. And eventually, but it's a long way away, it will become a Ravelry PDF download with sizings, with all of your pattern. But that will be a long way off because I've got loads of other little irons in the fire. So I just wanted to talk as well about the gauge. Now I'm issuing this as one single chart, one size, and the size that I knitted it for was me, which is a man's XL size. So the final chest measurement is 50 inches. Now I'm knit 8 stitches to the inch. Now I was using 3mm needles and a fingering weight yarn, and I was knitting 8 stitches to the inch. So if you are going to knit this for yourself, you're going to have to adapt it if you're not an XL man. But you can do that by taking some stitches away from the sides, or you can do that by using finer yarn and smaller needles. The other thing is that on the new pattern, I've added a piece in there so that the back can be knitted in the same pattern. So the front and the back would be knitted the same, because you probably all know. So yeah, on the back I knitted an ad hoc FAIRISLE design. Anyway, so I have, that's not part of the pattern. So you've got a pattern that can be used, so you can knit the back and the front the same if you want to. The other things, you could put you could knit a plain back if you wanted. The other thing is that I knitted an integrated rib around the neck and the arms, and although I put the rib on the bottom of the pattern, I haven't put the rib on the top. So you'll have to decide when you come to the neck and the armholes how you want to finish those. So there are only 50 of those prints, and we will be putting them either today or tomorrow in our Etsy shop. The link is obviously via our link tree, which will be in the description below. The other thing is, while you're in the Etsy shop, Mrs. Smith is going to do a bundle of all of my previous prints. So I think there are 6. So she's going to bundle them together. If you take that one, Joe, and then I'll show people what the 6 are going to be. So she's going to do cat chart, Labour of Love baby blanket chart, hair chart, Mrs. Smith's shawl, the Gothic one, Death's Head moths, and the original Bluebird baby blanket. And you're going to put them all together and do them for half the price. So I'm going to put a link down below to the Bluebird baby blanket video, because if you haven't seen that, that'll give you the background, the design inspiration that went into this original vest. So that link will be down below, unless I can work out how to do it on YouTube, but I doubt it. I might be able to. So I just want to, now I've done all that stuff, I just want to talk about my current whip, which is Vera's blanket. This is where I am with it. I'm really desperate to do an episode all about the colour for this. I just need to get a little bit further with it, and then I can talk about where the colour's going, what I'm doing with the colour, because I'm loving it, and it's really productive and it's really exciting, because I want to see it come on, because I want to get further on with it. You know, I'm struggling to put it down. You know, it's a real bind when you have to go to work or something and you've got to put it down. So yeah, I really want to talk about that. So the next episode is going to be me talking about, Joe Shaw's gone for a Burton again, the colour inspiration for that. And I might actually talk about colour inspiration in general, where I get my colour inspiration from. Before I forget, of course, it's Mug of the Week, and it is Tour de France. And the annoying thing is, whose ideas that we don't watch very much sport. We're not particularly into sport, but I do love the Tour de France, and Mrs. Smith loves Wimbledon. And what do? Put them on both at the same time, so they're competing with each other. Can't they get it together? Can't the people that run Wimbledon and the people that run the Tour de France say, let's do them on different weeks, so as not to upset people? Don't care, do they? Don't even care. So that's that. Also, Mrs. Smith was lovely the other day. She went shopping and she went to the boot sale, and she doesn't know this yet, but she bought me a lovely project bag, because as you can see, this is coming on. It's getting quite huge, and this is what she bought. A great big Boro project bag. She doesn't know it's a project bag. I'm using this one at the moment, this little basket, but very soon I'm swapping over to that. So if you see her, don't tell her, she might know. So I've already been asked, actually. I'm only, what, a quarter of the way through this, and I've already been asked, am I going to share the pattern, release the pattern, and I'm thinking, yes, I will at some point. I will release it. Obviously I've got a long way to go yet. It will just be a 2-colour chart, and you'll be able to drop, because there's 100 colours in that already, so it will eventually be just a 2-colour chart like that, and you'll be able to pick your background and foreground colours and drop them in as you like. So that's it for today, isn't it, Joe? So yeah, bye for now. But before I go, don't forget, have a look on the Etsy shop. So there's 50 of those available. And how many sets are you doing of the special bundle? 10 sets of the special bundle, half price, or on 6 charts altogether. Anything else you got to say today, Joe?
That's my bag.
That's not that not for long. Not for long. I'm going to get people to vote on it. People, can you please vote whether you think I ought to have that bag for my present project, or whether you think Mrs. Smith ought to keep the bag. And if you could put your votes below, that would be lovely. In the comments below, that would be smashing. Thank you very much. And we'll see. So it's good night from me, and it's good night from her. Bye.
Hi.
Okay, cut there. And the only thing is the top of my head's being cut off, Joe.
Oh.
Tip him up a bit.
Is it in the right place?
Well, it's not, but it's just back a bit. Leaning back a bit. Push the bum forward. That's it. That's better. That's better. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine.